Hi guys, welcome to In 5 Minutes. This time we are dealing with Unix. What is Unix file system? Okay, before directly jumping to file system, we should know is how Unix deal with it. So let's understand. Unix deals everything as a file. Let it be a printer, let it be a mouse, let it be even display. For Unix, everything would remain as a file system. So first we need to understand is how Unix would be handling I/O. So let's go with it, how it or what we have. When it's come to Unix, Unix majorly handles I/O, any kind of device or a file in two major mode. Two major mode is the block mode and the character mode. For a block mode, you will be reading block of data and transferring, or for a character mode, you'll be reading small chunk of data linking to each other and then using it. So we have major two mode, the block mode and the character mode. Block mode can be more understood as a byte mode because it will read certain number of bytes and transfer. Both of the mode, let it be the block mode or let it be the character mode, both are supposed to be buffered. That means yes, you'll go through the buffer and come back. In the next slide, we'll see that also. Second thing is to understand term called major and minor. Now, when you need, let's understand client and server. Client needs, server has, same way. If you need, you are a minor. And if you has, you are a major. Only thing is what can be major. In Unix, it can be hard disk, it can be keyboard, it can be several other devices which can give some data. So let's understand. Major device number is used as an index to either it is block data or it is a character data. On basis of this, two structures are used. They will contain various information like pointer to the procedure to open the device, read, write, etc. So when it comes to, if you are using a block mode, then you will use a structure BDE VSW. If you are using a character mode, you will be using a structure CDE VSW. So when it comes to this structure, we have an example of CDE VSW, or rather I would say character mode operation structure. As we can see, device null, 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 null. If there is some device, then it would have some address, some opening address, some closing address, and the call for read write purpose. For instance, memory, open close, there is nothing, but to read write there are functions to do so. For the keyboard, to open and read keyboard, you have K open, to close, K close, to read, K read, and to write, don't forget we are working with the keyboard, so we only have the input, we don't have output. Under that case, you will not be writing, so there is an error. Location is the address where you're going to store this file in terms of I/O, a location where this I/O can be accessed. So we have this kind of system in Unix, everything is treated as a file, you have an address from where you're going to perform the read write thing. So going with the next after understanding, I have clearly said there are two modes to work with, a block mode and a character mode. Let's try to understand in a diagram way. As you can see, this is a block mode system where to read or to write, the file system is accessed. File system will buffer while writing. After data is buffered, the block is prepared. We give it to disk driver and disk driver will perform writing on the disk. On the other hand, if you have data available on the disk, this driver will read this data, will give this data in a buffer, entire block is created, finally given to the file system and finally giving for reading. So the logic is fairly simple how we deal with. This is a block mode. If we are not using a block mode and we are using a chain mode or a pipe mode, here instead of reading entire block and transferring, we'll be reading predetermined chunk or a predetermined size of data in a small quantity. It is like a linked list where each node would target the next node to be read or next node in which you're gonna store read data. As you can see, we are giving small chunks of data which goes to line discipline for queuing system and then to terminal driver. So line discipline will act as a buffer intermediate. Same way if you are reading, all this information comes in small chunks, given again to line discipline and given finally to the interface which is going to perform read and write. You also have in Unix option of raw read write. This happens for a high speed access or when the user has developed entire application in a custom way of reading writing. Under that you have to directly communicate with the terminal driver for reading writing. You will be writing your own data using your own style, and since you are using a custom style of writing, reading would also require your own thing. That means Unix is only going to support one thing, it's just raw read write. It will not make any sense to the Unix. It would be responsibility completely of your system to understand and decode the overall logic. So that's it. These are the three modes to talk about.